Hi everyone! Today I will show you how calculate function interacts with slicers and filters, and how you can benefit from using calculate function while building percentages of totals. So that will be the topic of our today's tutorial. If you find these short tutorials valuable, please like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. First thing that we need to mention is that calculate function is the only Power BI function that can override slicers and filters. As usually, we have here a very simple raw data table that consists of only 19 rows. Just to simplify the explanation that I will be showing you shortly. First of all, let's create two filters. One will be for the states, another one will be for the segments. We will need them for our further explanation. Now I want to create a matrix table. I want states be as a rows, and as values I will place total sales measure. As we can see, the totals are 6928. Now we'll create a new measure. I will call it all. I will start with calculate function. I want to calculate total sales, comma, and now I will place all function. In brackets, I will put our raw data table that consists of 19 rows, sales table, closing both parentheses and clicking enter. Now let's place this new measure inside our matrix table. Now we can see the same total sales measure values in front of each row. That's because all function ignores raw context. Now if I start clicking on the state slicer, I will see that no matter what states I select, I will always have the same totals values here on the right, where all measure lives. This is how calculate function and all function ignore the filter selection. There is one more modification of all function, called all selected. Let's create a new measure named all selected, and I will show you how it works. Starting with calculate function as usually. Adding total sales measure. Now, instead of adding all function, let's add all selected function. Inside all selected function, let's place our sales raw data table, closing parentheses and adding this measure to our matrix table. Now let's select California and Florida in a slicer. We can see that we still have the same value inside each row, but this time these are the totals for the sales for the states of California and Florida. The previous measure, where we used all function, still gives us the totals for the sales of all states, while all selected function gives us the totals only for the selected parameters. Now moving to the Power BI magic. Having these two measures, we can calculate percentages of totals. First measure will be for the percentages of totals for all sales across all states. We will name it percentages of totals all. We will divide total sales measure by all measure. Let's place this measure inside the matrix table. These are the percentages of California and Florida sales inside all sales across all states. This says that Florida gives us 14% of sales out of all sales across all states. Now, let's create a new measure called percentages of totals all selected. This time, we will divide total sales measure by all selected measure. Let's also add this measure to the matrix table. This time, we see percentages of sales for California and Florida out of California and Florida sales only. This says us that Florida gives us 20% out of Florida plus California sales. Now let's quickly create another small matrix table. Rows will be segments, values will be the total sales measure. Now I will create a new measure. I will call it all segment. We're starting with calculate function. We're still calculating the total sales measure. comma, but this time I want to be more specific. I will type all, but this time I want to ignore the segment column filter inside the sales raw data table. So now I'm placing a table and a column name that I want to ignore as a filter. Let's see what it gives us. Let's place this measure inside the metrics table. Now let's look at both tables that we have here. No matter what we click in segment filter, all segment measure will stay the same because it ignores segment filter. But if I start playing with state filter, the all segment measure will start showing us different values. That's because it doesn't ignore the state filter. Previous metrics table. If we play with segment filter, all measure stays the same all the time, no matter what we select in state filter or segment filter. On the contrary, all selected measure value changes depending on what is currently selected in both filters, segment filter and state filter. So calculate function overrides not only slicers. We can go to the filters on this table or on this page, play with these filters, and you will see that the values will stay completely the same for all function and will be affected by all selected function. So I was trying to briefly explain how calculate function interacts with filters and slicers. If you find this short tutorial valuable, please like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. The link to download this dataset you will be able to find in the description of this video. If you are a business owner, in this set of tutorials, I'm showing how you can organize your weekly or monthly financial or non-financial reports without using Microsoft Excel, pivot tables and writing formulas. This will significantly save your time. Plus, you will avoid mistakes while building reports. As a raw data source, we're using simple Excel file, so we're running the report for the current week or current month. This can be 10,000 lines or 100,000 lines long report. In our tutorial, all data is imaginary. Every week or every month, we will be adding a new portion of lines in the report, and then we will be going to Power BI, clicking refresh, and a new week or a new month of data will be automatically added to our dashboard. If this information is valuable for you, please hit that subscribe button, share this video with your friends who have their own business. All tutorial links are placed down below in the description of this video. See you in next tutorials and follow us for more.